Hello, welcome. We're continuing on with the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, and we're starting with the second book in the series. So basically, I guess to summarize the first book, we basically follow Fitz, who is 6 years old when he gets dumped off at the Buckle Keep. I don't know, but it's basically the castle or keep of the royal family in this universe. And he is born as a bastard to Chivalry, who is the king in waiting, basically. He's first in line, but because of Fitz being a bastard, and Chivalry is now stepping down from his place in line, and instead of taking Fitz with him to where he's gonna go stay, because that would count as acknowledgement and he doesn't want to do that, Fitz stays at the keep, along with other things, learns to become an assassin to be worthy of staying in the keep and earning his place there, because again, he's a bastard. He doesn't really have the privileges that other people in the royal line do. So far, I will say I am very hooked on this book. I read 100 pages very easily. I kept looking up and being surprised that I had made it like 5 pages without even noticing. This book, because he is now 15 in this book, has a lot more court politics and stuff, because he's now technically a man, even though, he's 15. We're getting basically a more adult view of this world, and so far it hasn't really been told from an older perspective. In the prologue, it was being told from that, and then in the first book it was kind of a retelling from his older self. This so far is not like that, as far as, maybe I just blacked out and missed it. I don't think so. Because of the ending of the first book, we now have a very complicated relationship that you would think, with the way that the ending was going in the first book, was going to fully conclude in that. No. And it makes me wonder if it's gonna be the big, bad thing of this series, is gonna be this character doing more horrible stuff, also delving it more into the skill in this, which is the power. And then it also, in the prologue, we learned more about the different abilities that are in this world. The wit is the one where you can connect with animals, and I forget what it's called, but you can kind of see somewhat into the future. Also, this edition, it might cut out weird, but Tom Holland and Tom Cruise mixed together. I don't know why, but it's stuck in my brain. Also, this cover, not that bad for a real person being on it. Honestly, not that bad. What have we learned in the first 100 pages? We're back at the court. We're back to kind of some old relationships being repaired. Explore a possible love story. Yay! I guess there technically was, build up to a love story for this book in the first book. And also, he was a child in the first book. Still is, and it's very cute because it's young love. Okay, sorry. I'm not going to say the other book that I'm reading, because I feel like whenever I say it at the beginning of a video, it just doesn't... I don't read it. I have 100 pages of it left, so maybe I'll read 20 pages a day for that. I don't think I'm going to do it tonight. I'm really tired. But anyways, see you tomorrow, bestie. Okay. Hello. So, what do I have to update you on? Okay, the romance so far is very cute, but also frustrating, because it's miscommunication for some of the stuff. Actually, for majority of the stuff, which maybe I'm just gullible, but a lot of people don't like that trope, and neither do I. It's like a cute teenage young love. We're learning more about the wit in this book, which I do appreciate, because it kind of is mentioned, but it's not fully explained, and there's a path that I think that this is going to go down with it, and it's either going to be a very cool, nobody else in this world can do it the way that I do, or it's gonna be a fall down or ruin of his character, or at least in the eyes of other people. There's already been hinting at the second one of that, and I don't know how I feel about like somebody being disgraced, because I'm more intrigued by the kind of slight moves in royalty and stuff. I don't know. That's why I loved Stormlight Archive. I need to stop talking about Brandon Sanderson. The different political moves and what they meant, and like how somebody can do something bad but they can cover their trail or have certain things to cover their back, and they just can get away with it, and you kind of just have to deal with it, and you can't do anything because it's not actually seen as a slight, but you know, other people kind of recognize that it is, you know, like it's very interesting. And I like the court more than I like just kind of somebody being on their own and just traveling and having adventures. I like having to deal with crappy characters and how they get a one up on somebody else. It's incredibly nice to watch a horrible character get what they deserve. I'm gonna go to bed and I will update you tomorrow. I might read a little bit of, I feel like every time I say it I do myself but a memory called Empire, which I don't know, did I explain it? I probably did. You know, future me can cut all this out if I did, but it's, she goes replaces the ambassador that was before her for her space station. I don't know how to pronounce the space station's name, but the ambassador, she finds that the previous ambassador is dead, and she finds that out when she gets there, and now she's having to figure out who killed him and why they're still threatening her. But she has to fight stereotypes and figure out the new culture of this world while they're trying to basically, there's like other plots happening within it that she also has to discover, because the previous ambassador made a bunch of deals with people and now she's having to deal with what people already believe that she's informed of, but she's not. There's also a little cute romance that might be happening in that, and I very much would love for it too, but I doubt it's gonna happen in this book. We'll see if it even happens in the second book. I think it's a trilogy. It might have more books than that. I have no idea. Anyways, see you tomorrow, losers. Okay, so we are on page 300 and we are in the midst of chapter 12? Chapter 15, sorry. The romance has very much, stuff has happened within it. There's so much. It just took a really like fast turn from like pining to not anymore. Wow, was not fully expecting for that scene to happen, and I'm also guessing because of that thing happening that it's not going to end well. He's not that good with a sword. He's decent with a blade because, you know, he's an assassin and he gets close to people and takes their life that way. He's not that good with the sword, and there's possibly a pirate plot to this, but I'm guessing there probably won't be, and that there's gonna be some way that it gets kind of taken from him, or something will happen where he doesn't have the trust that he has within certain characters anymore. So that's gonna be interesting if that happens. It's also gonna make me very, very mad if it happens, and because of that, he's being trained with an axe because it's more close combat with an axe. We'll see if he gets any good at that. There is an axe on this cover, so, you know, I'm guessing, again, we've learned a lot more about the wit and also other characters who might possibly have it. Because I don't know if I explained it, I probably did. The wit is considered as a bad thing, and people are literally put to death over it because they become more, or at least it's said that they become more beast than human. I don't know how much to believe that. There's so many things that are already making me mad, and I have a feeling that there's going to be a ton of stuff is going to happen in a way that I'm not going to be happy, but it's going to conclude so that the third book has, like, basically, I'm guessing the third book is going to be about him getting out of the mess that all of this is, or proving his worth, or maybe, who knows, the person that I hate in this book might just die.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Honestly, Robin Hobb's writing is not predictable, so I could be completely like on left field and she could be throwing it right. I don't know. Certain relationships are more fast paced than I would want them to be. You know, they have context, but it's not like as much as I would love for the type of relationship that it is. I feel like only bad things are gonna happen. Anyways, see you tomorrow. Have fun, boys. Ew, I'm so sorry about that. Hello. How are you doing? So I am now on page 400, which is chapter 20, and let's just say I went for a ride. So I took some notes when I was on like page 370 because I had stopped reading for a little bit to watch football. Not like other girls, guys. This story has become very sad. Like, it's at the point in the book where everything starts to go wrong, so that later there's gonna be like a resolution to all of those things. Oh, it did become somewhat of a pirate story. Not very much. It was weirdly like short, that mentioning of it. And I think the other series, since it's in, I think it is in the same world, that it maybe that's like it'll follow later generations in that. I have no idea. I could be absolutely wrong, but I do know that one of the series is like a pirate story. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the book because it's literally just like him going crazy and showing his skill and like the showing of the wit and different things of him getting attacked and stuff. It spoke of berserkers. If you don't know what that is, they're basically like bloodlust people. Like they get into a battle and they can like be overwhelmed by emotion or kind of lose themselves in the bloodlust. I always find those very interesting. In Shadow of the God by John Gwynne, he has a character who does that. Actually, I think like multiple characters who do that, and it's a very interesting thing to see because they have a lust for it, but they also at the same time have somewhat control over it. It's a very interesting concept, and I just like fighting and action in books, and so whenever somebody's like a berserker, I'm like, oh, we're gonna get a ton of action. It's gonna be incredibly brutal and hard, and you're gonna have struggling because of it. And I also like that too, when they struggle in a battle later. It's very interesting to read about because it's, you know, them having to overcome different things and how they do it and how they get the better hand of somebody who's supposedly better. But yeah, it turned slightly into a pirate story. More kind of felt like Viking because it was with oars and stuff, but I don't really know what the difference fully is. Oh, we're now into forbidden love with this love story that's in this in two different ways. So you know how I was talking about like the skilling? You can go into like another person's mind and you can be like open there and you can see through their eyes and like yeah, get like their emotions and stuff through it. Um discovered that there are other things that you can see through it. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's definitely made like an interesting like shift of characters because there was always like admiration between these two characters and now it's kind of weird because of the skilling. I'm guessing because of the way that his life has gone so far, he's probably not going to end up with the person that I want him to end up with, or that, you know, he wants to actually end up with. Oh, and now there's a stupid quest that he's not on, but the character that I hate so much, and I was correct, it's already happening, because again, I wrote these notes when I was like 370 pages in. I'm now at 402. This character basically got set up to be able to be evil and set the downfall of a different character, and it is enraging me because it's just basically taking from the first book. And I understand that, you know, it's like, hey, this person's bad and they're vying for this throne again because that's their main objective. But it's like, it's frustrating because nothing was really done about it the first time, and now we're just having to deal with the aftermath of him trying to do it again. And he's stupid. So some of his stuff succeeds, but majority of it doesn't. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Anyways, I'm going to go to bed and try and sleep off some of my rage about the way that this book is going. I read 10 pages of A Memory Called Empire. I probably will finish it this week. I know I've said that before, so you don't really trust me, but I am actually going to try. I have, exactly 100 pages left. So if I can't just sit down and read that, I need to fall into a volcano, because that's very simple to do. Bye, see you tomorrow. Hello, it's Saturday. This is going to go into Sunday, which I hate when that does, but I only have 75 pages left of Royal Assassin. What do I have to say about this book? Oh, first, let's talk about A Memory Called Empire. Guess who finished it? I did. My review is I gave A Memory Called Empire 3 stars. I'm gonna be very, very honest. I feel like if I read this, like, if this was like the only book that I was reading, or like, basically if I gave it more of the time of day, I probably would have liked it a lot more. But because I've been reading it since August 21st, let that sink in. Every time I would pick it up, I would read like maybe 50 to 100, maybe even less than that. I was just not fully enveloped in it, and I was just, not really wanting to read, and that was probably because I was somewhat in a slump, or just not really wanting to read, because I'm reading very, like, taxing, I guess, kind of, fantasy books. I will say, I feel like this book deserves more than a 3 stars, but it was confusing to me. I love the politics aspect of it, and the storyline. If I heard it, I would be absolutely, like, very interested in this book. Personally, maybe the rest of the books in the series are a lot better. I was originally gonna give it 2 stars, but the ending, I don't know, it wasn't the best ending, but it just, for some reason, it made me give it 3 stars. I don't know, I just like the way that it concluded. And maybe that's because in both of these books by Robin Hobb, the endings have not been satisfying at all. When I first started reading this series, I thought that it was going to be like a royal assassin is going out against, like, maybe a kingdom that they're at war with, or just like noble houses in their kingdom, and that he was gonna assassinate to gain power, give power. Like, I thought it was gonna be that type of story. I do love this story a lot. You get to watch him grow up and kind of become, this person who has morals, even though he is a murderer. I will talk more of the ending tomorrow after I've actually finished it. I only have 75 pages left, but I really just am not in the mood to finish it. Also, my thumb hurts so bad. See you tomorrow. This is horrible. It's Sunday, and guess what? I finished the book. I am so frustrated with the way that this ended. Both of these books have had such unsatisfying endings, and I usually don't like when books change the character like a ton for the next book in the series, or the environment, and that's what's going to happen in the 3rd book, because the way that this ended, I'm so angry at this. I'm giving The Royal Assassin, the 2nd book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, 4 stars. It was gonna be like 4.5 or maybe even 5 stars before that full ending. I am so mad because the character growth and everything that has happened is now going to be completely different in the 3rd book because of the way that this one ended. The love story is just probably going to be gone until, like, the very end of the 3rd book. The whole thing of him serving somebody and having moral questions and stuff is going to be gone because he's going to be different. Like, it makes me so angry because it's such good character and just like it's so good, and then this comes along and messes that up, and it just makes me so mad. I will say for the majority of this book, I was angry at other parts, which is evident from this video, but not as angry as I am now. I had a lot of fun reading this, and there was a part at the end that made me laugh out loud, even though it was just chaos. This ending is chaos. And I'm interested and really do want to know how things conclude in this, but I know that I'm probably not going to get the satisfaction that I want out of it, and that, everything's going to go the way that it should, or, how I want it to, because every time I'm thrown for a loop at the end of her books, I'm expecting one thing and then get thrown for another. It's so annoying, but also so good, because that's good storytelling, is to not just give what is expected, to actually have something different. And her writing is fantastic, and her characters are incredible. The way that she explains the skills and stuff from somebody who doesn't really fully understand it, and you get to learn along with them, is incredibly interesting. The new stuff that we've discovered about the abilities is incredible, but it's just so infuriating. Just the way that these have ended. And the character that I hate so much is probably not going to get his just desserts. He's probably going to get away with at least some of this, or he's not going to... Like, it's so... Like, if you are hearing me be angry at this book and thinking, like, oh, it's not worth reading, it is. Just expect for yourself to be angry at some of the stupid decisions that characters make. I literally just got done reading it. Like, it just makes me sad that we're gonna abandon this, because I just love it so much. But I will be reading the third book next week. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Alright, see you in the next video, guys. Bye!